Well, hello again. YouTube's P2 Finger, and I'm here with my Tape Op magazine. We're going to have another Toan talk. I can hear the mouse clicks echoing out into the night. Um, Anytime I do a video like this, I feel like the guy at the Christmas party who got a little bit too much punch in him and put the lampshade on his head and did the Egyptian dance. So, yeah, mass delirium. Uh, Racism, mass delirium. We have a community of people that guitar playing and the internet has created a new monster. And this is nothing to do with recording or making music. It's a dick measuring contest. It's owning gear. And whoever dies with the most toys wins, and if you have better, more analog or tube gear than the next guy, you're above him. He's below you. Now, calling someone of color the N word is a really evil, horrible thing to do. And when I bring up racism, I'm not saying that judging someone on their gear is the same thing as calling someone of color the N word. I am not saying that, but it's the same type of cowardice. It's the same type of fear-based treating another human being like you are superior to them that's really kind of gone out of style. You know, we have PC now, and some people take that a little bit far. I've got to admit that. But there's also a lot of things that have changed for the better with that. We just have to be careful in, stuff like tearing down statues and getting rid of Cat in the Hat books, this type of stuff that you see on social media. It can go too far, but then there's stuff that just gets missed over. Like if you see a volleyball game and there's some dude and he spikes the ball on a much younger female and she goes like this because she's scared, and then they score a point, and then they're all, yeah, and high-fiving. Like that type of stuff. I see that, and it makes me angry. I cannot apologize for righteous anger. Okay? So if I go to like Glenn Frickus, if I'm over there and I see just the stupidity in his comment section, or a live stream, Brat the Catalymizer. I see this gang mentality of internet guitar player syndrome is what I call it. And again, I make these videos and it's like, hello, 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 hello. Like I'm completely, no one gets it. And I'm alone in this. Like everyone has bought into this thing of all analog tube tone. It's the only way to go. And I've talked about it and talked about it till I'm blue in the face. And then I get comments like, digital's convenient. Like, you're missing the point. The point is not, is digital better than analog? Is analog better than digital? They go hand in hand. They really do. And they both have high points and low points, and they're just peanut butter and jelly. They're two different things, and as a musician, getting hung up on that and using that stuff as an excuse rather than moving forward and recording and writing and bettering yourself, because as you go through those processes, the more you can push yourself to do that, that's when you start getting good. It's like Pink Floyd. They sucked after Sid Barrett left. And then Dark Side of the Moon happened. And Dark Side of the Moon wouldn't have happened without metal, without echoes, right? If you're a Floyd fan, you're right there with me. So I'm here to say, as a person who didn't have great luck in life and didn't have money to buy a house, lived in an apartment, had chronic gout. For 13 years, it was really bad in my knees. So both of my knees would be the size of a cantaloupe. I would be in a wheelchair. It's kind of tough. Then I herniated discs in my back. So I live in a 2-bedroom apartment. And am I going to say, well, I'm never going to have that 59 gold top. I'm never going to have that Dumble. So I'm just going to, I gave it my shot, and my days are done. No. I continue to record music, and I do that using digital modeling. And anyone who was not a musician will listen to this music that I make, and I couldn't guarantee what they would come back and say, but number one, they wouldn't say, that sounds harsh, that sounds digital, you're using a modeler. So as far as interacting socially, and it depends on where you go, but it can get really bad in some places. Really bad. And I go to those places just to entertain myself, to see, which is probably not healthy for me. But I'm asking you, as a patron of my videos, to consider what I'm selling. And what I'm selling is not digital, is just as good as analog, or it's going to get better than it. It's not anything about the two at all. It's about how we, musicians, me and you, how we treat each other when we're interacting. That you should never put yourself above someone else because of what you own. That this is really bad, okay? It goes hand in hand with racism. Like I said, seeing someone of color, calling them an M-word, N-word, that's unexcusable, and you're not allowed to do that. But we are allowed to go online and say, look at this guy over here. Well, we know he's there. He's using a Line 6 Spider. And there is this, tube amps are unbelievably loud. Digital can be done with headphones. So where does that end up? Well, people that live in apartments are using digital modeling. And you have the other side of the coin of snickering that's not good enough, but in the reality of playing the end of the recordings for people, that they can't tell the difference. So this is mental illness. This is mass delirium. And it's just ridiculously stupid. But this is how we treat each other. And the ship's sinking. Rock and roll is not healthy. So here's my tape op. Here's the ad for Universal Audio's digital pedals. These are $400. They came out, they were reviewed, and the community's doing backflips. They love these things. But they're digital. So expensive is good. What it turns out to be a guitar player in 2021 is a dick measuring contest. It's who owns the most expensive toys wins. That's all that it's about. It has nothing to do with recording music or making music or being in a band. It's just about having expensive analog and tube gear. There's the text from this commercial, this advertisement, Universal Audio. Introducing UAFX pedals, a landmark in classic reverb delay and modulation effects, beautifully built upon powerful new dual processor. That's computer chips, by the way. Dual processor engines, and Universal Audio's proven analog modeling expertise. UAFX pedals deliver sonic authenticity that spans decades. So here's the full text of the ad. 60 years of analog tone at your feet. You follow me? 60 years of analog tone at your feet. And then it says analog modeling here in the text. So 2 times they bring up analog. Here, let me fix that for you. Yeah, they're digital pedals and they're $400 a piece. And everyone is bending over backwards and doing backflips about these things because they're expensive. I don't know. You tell me. Why is it that those things get a pass? But if I go anywhere and bring up, well, hey, I record and I use whatever digital modeling, you know, it doesn't matter to me. Most of the stuff that's out there sounds so good. It doesn't matter who makes it. It's just if it came out after 2006, you know, because some of the older stuff, and that's where we picked up. That's where the tide turned. In the 90s, there was guys that didn't use pedals that would judge you if you did. So my thing is how we interact with each other. It's not the pedigree of one being better than the other. It's this bullshit. 60 years of analog tone at your feet. Digitally. Okay? Let's be honest, Universal Audio. They can't put digitally because it's a dirty word. And this mass hysteria, mass delirium, this thing that everyone has become obsessed with, and it's like, it's everyone. And then here's Petey off by himself saying, hey, digital's not the culprit here. You guys are missing the point. And if you're going to let it hold you back, because in reality, you're just scared. You don't want to try to write that song because you know you're not going to end up opening for Bon Jovi on his next tour. You're going to write it, it's going to get maybe 30 or 100 views, and that's that, and that isn't good enough for you. Because you're, in your own mind, a rock star with your tube amp and your analog. And what it comes down to is it's just a bunch of bullshit, and it has nothing to do with making music. And as musicians, because of the fact that we really are brothers in sound and in craft, I think we deserve to treat each other with more respect than me looking down at the next guy because of what he has on his pedal board. That's just the same type of thinking as racism to me. I'm not saying it's as bad or it's evil. There's no comparison. Racism is way worse. And this is more of a minor, like, pet peeve for me. But as a person who lives in an apartment, you know, I didn't have some great life where I was blessed with a home of my own to make noise. I live in a multi-dwelling unit with a bunch of people, and I have to be respectful. So that means things are a little different for me, but in the long run, I don't think it makes me any less of a musician when I'm dropping an album every year and I'm writing all these songs for the duo. I think that the fact that I've come up with close to 500 pieces of music in my life that has fallen back on digital technology. That never would have happened so much. You know what I mean? If I had to use analog. So I embrace it, and I understand that it's different. I'm not saying one is better than the other. They go hand in hand. You use them together. And I think the most important thing that people are not getting from what I've been selling in these tone talks is we just need to treat each other better. It's not a dick measuring contest. We shouldn't feel like we're in competition so much because guitar players are really like that. They really are competitive. And I don't see any reason for it. I really don't. I think we should treat each other with respect. And that we should be, what we should be doing backflips about is that we're alive now when all this stuff is available. And there still is some analog stuff going around. So please don't think I'm here to bash either one or to elevate either one. That's not the discussion. The discussion is be nice. Anyway, I hope this was a good one. I would love some comments on this. I really feel like I'm out here making an ass out of myself when I want to talk about this stuff. So I would love some feedback on it. I realize that's asking a lot. So hug your pets. Have a good one. And peace.